day's just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke.
Stroke could be you. It happened to me. Never thought it could happen to me.
On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke. On that day, just another day. I pray soon as I woke. Never thought I'd be the victim of a paralyzing stroke.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We finally made it. We're at the end of the month of October, and we're at our last episode for the month of our AVM Awareness Month Series, Part 4. And our guest tonight will be Erica Carnegie. But before I bring her on, you guys know the bane of my existence, but the person I still love deep in my heart, my sister, my friend, Christina Perez. How you doing, sister?
Hey, the bane of your existence.
The bane.
Good evening, sir.
What's going on with you, man? We've been doing this for this whole month of October for AVM Awareness Month, right? You know, we had great guests so far. We had
amazing guests.
We had Gina Keeley from the Paige Keeley Foundation. She was telling us about what she's doing with this, what she calls a monster murderer of a condition that we have. Then we had who did we have next? Did we have Selena next? Yes, we did have Selena next, and Ava. Oh wow. Remember Selena,
Ava, kick-ass Ava.
Wow, that was an epic episode. You know, I was surprised what I got from her, and all the information that she gave us was unbelievable. And then last week we had Cassidy, and her daughter was just running around all over the place. It was so cute, but it was so informative, just understanding a person's point of view as a AVM stroke survivor. And, you know, I don't know how it hit you, but it hit me pretty hard.
It did. And again, bringing light to not only AVMs, but being in different aspects within this journey, you know, having a mother who is fighting Miss Gina, who's fighting so hard to bring awareness, losing her daughter, and then having Selena with Ava, and Selena's background being in nursing, and still having Ava, and Ava being able to bring that aspect, and then having Miss Cassidy, who is still a young mother going through this, going through the journey of, you know, restarting her life. And then tonight we have Miss Erica, who's kind of in the middle, you know. I think, again, I said that last week, how powerful and empowering it is to have all these levels of women in different paths on their lives, with this monster, as Miss Gina said. So for me as a woman, it's that much more empowering. I love the type of awareness that has been brought out here, and I don't think that it's just pertaining to women, because again, it's about an AVM, and we're getting every aspect: caregiver, mother, someone, you know, like myself, like yours was removed. I still have mine. You know, our guest tonight still has hers. So getting different aspects. You did good.
I did good.
You did. Let's all give a round of applause for Greg, because this was Greg's task and he did exceptional. He took it upon himself when we spoke about this everywhere, AVM awareness, because he's that much more in tune with the community and really sought out all these guests we have had for everyone. So again, Greg, you did a great job, and I think this is it's been a beautiful segment, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, you did your part too. You came on and being lovely and beating me up each and every week, keeping me on my toes. I love it. But hey,
Yeah.
before we go any further, let's make sure that people can find us and know where to go to get information
Right.
about us.
So if you have not witnessed the magic of Greg and I on You're Too Young to Have a Stroke, make sure you go ahead, go back, watch some episodes, not just this month, all the months prior at YouTube, You're Too Young to Have a Stroke. Also on our Instagram, you can go ahead and follow us at Y2Y2, HASTROKE, and of course our Facebook, You're Too Young to Have a Stroke.
So, Christina, without any further ado, and it was great for you to give me all my props. It wasn't really necessary because we do this together. This is a team effort, and
It's a little bit. Don't take it too far. It's a little bit. Take it and go.
all right, thank you.
Erica, let's go.
Let's bring Erica Carnegie onto the screen. I know she's waiting patiently to come on and tell us about herself. So, without any further ado, here is Erica. Erica, how you doing, sister?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well. I am so well. We was discussing, I think Christina was bringing it up earlier backstage, between you or your mother, you're the reason why me and Christina know each other. And that is a pretty cool thing because I didn't really know so many people about AVM awareness. And I met you or your mom, I'm not sure who it was. And then a lot of people started connecting with us. And then I found out, myself, Christina have Jamaican heritage connections, but I realized that me and you have a very pretty strong connection on your maternal side. That your maternal grandmother is from St. Mary Highgate. That's the
Yeah.
same area that my mom is from. So I was very blown away by that, and I was very impressed to actually know that I have a sister in arms in this battle. So thank you for coming on to the show once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Erica, we've been having different conversations with different people, as you had heard when you was backstage, but we never had a conversation like this before. We dealt with younger people, but your condition of AVM wasn't a stroke. It was something different. Can you please inform our audience what you actually have or what you're dealing with?
Yes. So with my AVM, I struggled with migraines, ocular migraines to be specific, which means that I'll have the pain with the migraine, but I would also lose my vision. So the first time I had one of those, it was very scary because my vision just started going in and out. And then before I knew it, I couldn't see at all. So that's what I struggled with. I also struggled with vision problems in general. I wear glasses now, and then also problems with my sinuses. So I had breathing problems as well.
Okay. So that sounds like a handful, a lot of stuff. And what age were you when this actually happened to you, and how was you affected by it?
I was probably 11. I was in 6th grade, 5th grade when it all started with the migraines. Everything kind of got worse as I got older. AVMs grow as you go through puberty. So it started off with migraines, little headaches along the way, 5th and 6th grade. And as I went through middle school to high school, the issues only continued to get worse. And that's when we finally decided we needed to keep finding new specialists and see what the problem was. After consistently being misdiagnosed by other doctors, we needed to see exactly what the problem was and what we could do to get it fixed.
Misdiagnosed. Christina, I know you can actually relate to that. When you hear all this stuff, because that didn't really happen to me. When you hear all this stuff, Christina, what does it do to you? How do you feel about what Erica went through as a young child?
Honestly, grateful for, I'm sure her family advocated for her. And grateful that they did. Honestly, I, not that I can recall for myself at a young age. Um, Obviously, thinking back now as an adult, thinking of certain things, maybe that could have been signs, but the fact that she had adults, her family advocating for her. Erica, when you said that we kept going, your family was the one who essentially was advocating for you, correct? To kind of kind
Yes,
of
my
thing.
mom was my biggest advocate, especially when it came to being told that I just had a lazy eye, so they just needed to remove some of my eyelid and that it would be fine, or that they were going to remove some of my lower eye, or that they were going to go through my cheek and try to do whatever. All of those things would have just caused harm in the long run. And my mom knew. She stuck to her guns. She was like, this is not what's going on. There's something bigger. She's having these headaches. She's having all of these symptoms, all of these issues that don't relate to having a lazy eye. So she kept saying no, she kept pushing, and then we finally did find a specialist who specializes specifically in arteriovenous malformations, and he flew from New York to Florida to meet with us.
Wow. Now, what that makes me think of is going back to Gina, who is our first guest this month. And she had mentioned, because one of the questions I had asked, if her daughter mentioned to her if there was any signs. What were some of the things, and I say this because I'm sure there's parents watching, what were some of the things that you were saying to your mother that allowed, that kind of put that in her, that this is not just my child saying something's, a little off for her?
Yeah, so my mom actually struggled with migraines when she was younger, so it wasn't very shocking that I also struggled with them, but the difference was that I was bedridden for days. I wouldn't go to school for a week at a time. I would be throwing up on and off day after day in pain. My face would be burning. I wouldn't be able to see out of my eyes. So it was less of me telling her and more of her seeing and being concerned for her child, because these were things she had never seen before, and telling her, my face hurts so bad, I can't do this, and just sleeping for 14 hours at a time, and telling her that I am legitimately blind and cannot see at all. Those, just being completely transparent with her, and then also her watching all of those physical symptoms happen, were things where she knew that something bigger was going on.
Now, Erica, you saying this is in your optical nerve. The symptoms that you're saying sound very similar to what, Christina and I had inside of our brain. What is the real major difference when the AVM is in your brain versus your optical nerves?
I'm not sure of all of the differences. I do know that if it were to rupture, I would be less likely to have a stroke. It would cause a lot more damage with my vision, with my sinuses and breathing, and my dental, all of that. It would cause issues there. It's right here under my eye. So with the issues of it rupturing, blindness, vision, breathing issues, and all of this, basically everything that it's pushed up against, it would rupture there versus being on my brain and having, an aneurysm or a stroke.
Okay. I've been watching you for a very long time. I interviewed you before on a different show, and you was much younger. It seemed like now you have come to your own, but it's so ironic and poetic that this has happened to you. And the reason why I'm saying that is I know that it happened to you and it protruded out of your face. Am I correct?
Yes.
And now you're a beauty pageant contestant all the time. So it's like so ironic that probably when you was younger, you used to hide your face, and now you just boldly show it. I saw one clip of you, and it blew my mind. I had to take it back. You was walking on stage, and you gave a look to the camera like, "Yo, I'm here." I'm like, "Yo, my little sister's not a little sister no more. She is running that floor, and she's doing everything she possibly can." What has changed in your mind that you say, this AVM is not going to take me? I'm going to do what I got to do. What is that thing? And can you teach us that, please?
For me, it was just getting older and being a lot more comfortable with myself. I started pageants before I had my surgery on my AVM, just as a way to step outside my comfort zone, be comfortable speaking in front of people. And as time went on, being surrounded by such confident and inspiring young women, it really inspired me that, not everything is about being on the outside, and that is hard as a middle school young girl who has these physical differences from her friends. But now I've really grown into my own, and my AVM's a part of me. All my friends know it. My social media knows it. So I'm just comfortable with it right now. I love when people ask me questions about it, and my AVM is me. So I'm not hiding from it anymore.
I love that answer. We have some comments, and the lovely Christina reads our comments for us. And she's going to tell me that, she's blind in one eye, but she has to read the comments. Hey, it only takes you one eye to see. So you just could read what you got to read, right?
Near my left eye, believe it or not. I
Here's the
just
comments.
want make sure that our audience knew that you were choosing me to do that. Destiny states, it's so sad to hear so many people being misdiagnosed. Sharing your stories will really raise awareness so we can all learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, that is so true. And thank you, Destiny, for bringing that out. You know, so many medical professionals are clueless to this because I know for it to be in your brain is only 1% of the population. I guess is very, very lower for what happened with you. Am I right, Erica?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So a lot of medical staffs don't even take the time to educate on themselves on it because they never think it will happen to them until it happens to them. They have a patient in front of them. So,
Mm.
Erica, before we go into other things, I'm very curious about you. You said you was around 11 years old. You found this out, and it started protruding out of your face, and you got, I guess, some kind of procedures to heal that. But being an 11-year-old child, have to go to school and maybe getting picked on or worrying about if anybody's going to say anything to you. How did you actually deal with that? And what advice do you have for younger people that have that same type of problem?
Yeah, so struggling at such a young age and, not even knowing that it was an AVM at that point in time and just having this protrusion from my face that when I would get sick, it would get even larger. People pointed it out and they would ask me about it, and I just had no idea what to say. That's just my face. That's what it is. My mom grew up with brothers, so she raised me to be very tough and hold my own. So I never really took any of the questions in a harmful way. People were just curious. And, as I got older and it got worse, it did become more apparent that I was uncomfortable with it. I would take pictures with my eyes closed all the time so people wouldn't realize that one was a little bit smaller than the other. And so my advice to young people struggling is hold your own. You are you. No one else can be you. And, just try something new. If people are asking you and it's making you uncomfortable, change the topic. Change whatever you need to do to make yourself more comfortable. And when you are finally comfortable sharing your story, it took me a long time to actually share my story. Do it with pride and, make people proud.
And that's where I come in. Why did it take you so long to want to share your story?
It took me a while because I just wasn't sure what was going on. I finally got my diagnosis, I think, at 14, and then I had my procedure done when I was 15. And it just was uncomfortable for me because I still was learning a lot about what an AVM was. So I wasn't sure how to tell my story when there were so many people who were already telling theirs and sharing all their experiences, especially since I was so young when I started dealing with all of these symptoms. I you don't want to use the word trauma blocked it out, but some things I just genuinely don't remember because it just was so traumatic to be dealing with all of that at 10, 11 years old that I didn't even remember part of the things that were happening. Like my mom had to re-explain it to me. So I wasn't comfortable sharing such a sensitive topic at the time in my life, and especially a story where I couldn't even remember everything that was going on.
Which
No,
is great to
yeah.
know. So I know you had mentioned earlier that all your friends are aware in reference to you with your AVM, and you're a young woman now. How, and I know with all the things that you do with bringing awareness, how comfortable are you expressing that to just random strangers if they bring that up? Do you feel like that's a part of your identity?
100%. It is who I am. I can't run from it. I have joined so many organizations and, been on panels, spoke to audiences, spoke to groups of young women about confidence. It's who I am. And if you walk up to me on the street and say, "Hey, I saw you on the AVM podcast. What is that?" I will sit you down for 20 minutes and tell you my whole life story because I love sharing that. And if I had met people like that when I was younger, we could have potentially gotten me diagnosed earlier. So sharing my story is not only a way for me to inspire others, hold their own, be confident in themselves, but also maybe help people that are struggling silently like I was.
I'm gonna play
Now,
devil advocate with that. Hold on, Christian. I got a question before she goes further with that.
oh, I actually held on. You see me? I'm behaving.
You're behaving. You're good today. You're good today. You're being good. Being nice.
Boys, relax yourself.
Erica, so with that being said, right? I hear people say, even to me, I don't know if they say it to you, well, you're milking this. This is, you're doing too much. Why are you always bringing up AVM? It doesn't bother you that bad. Why do you keep on saying this each and every day? What do you say to that? And how do you move forward to be an advocate and not get discouraged by other people's words?
In response to that, it's part of my identity. It's who I am. I'm going to tell people that I'm Jamaican and that I'm of Jamaican heritage because that's who I am. If you don't want to hear me talk about it, you don't have to listen. I would sit and talk to a brick wall if I could. That's who I am. I'm going to talk about it, and I want to inspire others to share their stories and maybe even seek the treatment that they're needing, because there are so many people struggling silently and so many rare diseases that go undiagnosed because people aren't sure where to go or they're too nervous to talk about it. So I want to break the stigma. I want people to talk about it. I want them to get the help that they need.
Christina, did you see that? She almost got upset with that question. She started talking faster and everything, got real passionate. I love it. I love it.
Got real wagwan.
Ooh, I love it.
All of us, the three of us being, of Jamaican heritage, do you think it has something to do with our DNA?
That's a great question. I'm actually completely unsure. I've talked to some of the other people I know that have had AVMs, and none of it's been genetic. The only thing for me, I know my mom broke her leg when she was pregnant with me, and she had a few x-rays done, and maybe that's the only thing that I would imagine had played a role in it, but I'm completely unsure because no one else in my family struggles with this.
It's very, very interesting, Christina. That's a great question because only one other person I know that's Jamaican that actually came forward to say they have AVM. Her name is Diane Batchelor. She wrote a book about that, and that's the only other person that I know. So it's like 4 of us from Jamaica that actually have this condition. Well, that makes sense because it's such a rare condition. We have some more comments, so I want to bring that out on the screen, and then we could go back to our questioning for Erica.
Miss Erica. Miss Yolanda, this is to you, Miss Erica. Thank you so much, Erica, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
So, Erica, I really want to know, now you're in college, you're probably about to graduate school soon. Am I correct with that?
Yes, I graduate in May.
You graduate in May. Congratulations. And
Congratulations.
and you said that you still have the AVM within you. So does that bring up built-in anxiety that any day something can happen, or do you just live life to the fullest and you're not even worried about it anymore? How do you deal with it, and how can you tell someone else that's going through that to deal with it, and what you do, your remedies?
I still take a lot of the precautions that my mom and I did when I was younger. I have Advil in my room for if a migraine hits. I have green apples because for some reason those always helped me. And I heard that it's about the sugar levels in it that help, unrestrict the blood veins. Whenever I'm going to the beach or anything, I'm bringing a lot of water. I'm bringing a hat. I'm bringing sunglasses. I'm just always prepared for it. But I do just live my life because thankfully, due to my procedure, I haven't really struggled with a lot of the symptoms at the same degree that I did before. But even recently, about a month ago, I wasn't drinking enough water. I was having too many sweets and I had a migraine. Immediately, I took the Advil, I drank some water, and then I just went to bed and I slept it off. And I knew the next day that it would be fine. So for the most part, I just live it up, take every day as it is, participate in all the things that I'm involved with. And sometimes I forget about it. So
now I want to bring up, you're mentioning procedure. For the audience, what type of procedure was that you went through?
I had sclerotherapy, so it's a needle-based surgery. They didn't have to make an incision or anything. It's a lot of needles and it's radiation-based, and they stick it into the AVM. And so it essentially starts to shrink the blood vessels, making the AVM smaller, making the blood flow less than what it was before. So it just makes it a lot smaller and easier to deal with in the future.
Okay. And you recently, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, speaking about, living your life and living it up. You posted on your story in reference to TAF, which we're absolutely going to get into because you do so much advocacy and awareness with that. The risk as a woman with having an AVM that hasn't been removed, like you and I, of us being pregnant and the risk of that. With you being a young woman, I'm sure not thinking right now, absolutely not, especially graduating in May, but I know in the future, possibly, whether or not you would like to be a mother. How does that make you feel?
It definitely makes me nervous, but it's something, that just comes with having an AVM. So just taking more precautions in the future. And this goes with any new doctor that I've switched to. I'm very adamant about them reviewing my medical history, reviewing the surgery procedure and everything that went on afterwards so that they know what's going on. So I always make sure that my doctors know about my medical history and my AVM because that can make a difference in how they're treating you and maybe even saving your life.
And that aspect, your child's life, right? I saw your story and I freaked out. And then Greg sent it to me in my DM. I said, yeah, Greg, I know. He's sending it to me. I saw it. I know the risk. Thanks, bud.
It wasn't her story. It was from Taft. It was from Taft.
It
wasn't her story. It was from Taft.
From Erica's story, really, Greg?
It was from Taft. I was just sending it out so you could share it on our page. That's it, because you do our sharing.
Sharing nothing because I started crying.
Okay. Here we go.
I want to be a mom. I do. I want to be a mom. And I know with still having an AVM, the risk of it and how dangerous it is. And, I feel like, I don't know if that's something you think about, but how do you deal with, and I say this because you are in such a pivotal age group, how would you deal with being able to differentiate whether it's you being selfish or you doing something that you would be protected by? Like, some people may say you're being selfish by, attempting to have a child, knowing that you still have an AVM and the risk that comes with it. Respond to someone who said that to you.
I think everyone has the choice to make whatever medical decision that they want. And there are risks that come with a lot of different medical conditions. So you can't really single out a specific one. A lot of different conditions have a lot of risks when it comes to even having surgeries, minor surgeries. And people will ask, well, why'd you do that? Life is short. Do what you want. Make the choices that you want, because at the end of the day, you want to walk away being happy and being confident in what you've done rather than walking away and thinking about what could have been.
Right here with you.
I'm with that. Obviously, this had nothing to do with me at this point, but
it doesn't.
Okay. We have some more comments.
Joy to the world. Oh, I love that name. Greg, what did you? Oh, Greg, it's for you.
For me, I got a question.
Look at that. You got a question.
I'm a big boy now. I'm a big boy.
Let me clear my throat for you. This is all for you.
Okay.
Greg, what did you say to the people who said you were milking it? Because I know it was wild. Eyeballs.
That was just a difficult thing for me. I don't know how it would feel for anybody else, but for me, it was difficult because people was used to seeing a stroke survivor and they're like, oh, you don't walk with a limp. Well, I actually do, but you don't need crutches. You don't need a wheelchair. It seemed like you could speak properly. So you must be milking it. And what people don't really realize when it comes to a stroke is not necessarily the physical things that is messed up, is your brain has restarted and even your thought process is off. So a lot of things was taking its time for me to get back to who I was before. I don't know if I'm even that person I was before, but people didn't understand, since it was invisible disabilities, that I have pain all the time. They think I'll be faking it, or sometimes I'll be tired and don't want to get up, and they think I am blaming it on a stroke when it's actually some of the actual things that will happen when you do have a stroke. So I just learned how to meditate and go forward instead of just dealing with negativity. Hope that answered your question, Joy, to the world. What about you, Christina? Did you ever have that kind of comments?
That I'm milking it? I don't believe so, honestly. Again, I kind of touched upon that last show that within this AVM rupture recovery journey, I was not surrounded by other AVM survivors. I was amongst people who had no idea, even with just the traumatic, an AVM rupture, aneurysm rupture. So I don't feel anyone felt like I was milking it. I feel like people were very unaware of the severity of what it was that I went through. And I think the people closest to me were just that much more ecstatic that I survived it. A lot of the comments and things that I received was just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you survived." So I never felt that. I never felt like anyone felt like I was milking it or received any comments in reference to that. So I would, unfortunately, I'm unable to relate to that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Erica, I am curious about this. Christina asked you a little bit about this, but I want you to go more in depth with this. You know, as a teenager and also as right now, how do you select your friends and how do you socialize with people? Because you said you're very adamant and you talk about you advocate. You work with TAF, the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation. So you do a lot of speeches on this. But what was that moment that you say, okay, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to grow up and take this on bull by the horns. Yeah, I know I got my diagnosis. I'm 14, 15. I'm going to do this. And whoever doesn't like me, doesn't like me. How did you come to that at a very young age? Because I'm very curious of how you manufactured that confidence. I really am.
So I mentioned earlier, my mom has always been someone who's encouraged me to be the best version of myself, that you can't be anyone else. You have to be the best version of you. And after getting my diagnosis, starting my pageantry journey, and even having my surgery, I was surrounded by such a supportive group of friends that they always made me feel comfortable talking about things that I was going through, talking about my diagnosis, talking about my pageantry journey. And so I talked about it. If people weren't loving it, they just weren't loving it. And that was not my problem, not to be harsh, but if you don't love it, that's just what it is. And from a very young age, I have been very confident in myself. And if you're not vibing with me, that's just my personality. And that's totally okay. Not everyone has to love Erica. So that's just what it is.
But Erica, I'm the same exact way. I got that same vibe with me. I don't care if you don't like what I say. That's on you. I don't really care. But I've been through things. I live my life. I have traveled the world. I've done all these type of things. So for a young person to have that mentality, I understand that your mom instilled that in you, but having that mentality, I'm just trying to figure out what was that actual trigger. Because was you like that before you found out that you had your AV?
Yes, I was. I've always been like that since I was
Then
younger.
that answers my question. Then you rose a firecracker. Got you. Got you. Question: what are you going to school for, and is it anything to do with advocacy with AVMs, or is it something completely different?
It's actually something completely different. I have a current double major in marketing and management with a minor in sport business, and I'm looking at graduate programs for next year, and they'll have a focus in sport management as well as an MBA. So something completely different, very shocking. Not what I thought I was going to end up going to college for, but here we are.
But it really makes me proud when I see people like myself, and when I say like myself, I'm just talking about AVM. Uh, that is fighting the good fight and living their life and not complaining about, I have this thing inside of me and I don't want to live anymore. Um, so when I see, like I said, when I saw you with that look, I was like, this lady right here, she's really doing her thing. And the confidence that you just give out, I'm 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 thrown back by it. So whenever I see it, I want to make sure that I get you on this show and you can explain it to other people, because and I know you heard it before many times as well, Erica. People are out there are very dismayed. They think life is over and they don't think they could do anything else. And you're a testament to it. Like, you had something protruding out, you had an AVM protruding out of your face, and now you're doing beauty pageant and you're showing so much confidence doing that. Even though you said you used do it before, but it seemed like it's just that story saying, no, I'm not giving up. I'm going to do what I want to do. So how can you inspire other people to see it that way too?
Don't give up. It might seem hard. And when I was younger, although I am very confident in myself, it was hard having this physical difference from all of my peers. And that did have an effect on my confidence levels when I was younger, which is why I joined pageantry, to find a supportive group of women who are going to uplift me, not only for my physical beauty, but for the things that I can do for the community and the things that are inside of me. So find your group of people, find your tribe, and they will uplift you. They will carry you to where you need to be, and you'll do the same for them. So don't think that anything's over. Life's a lot more fun when you're living it, not when you're dreading it. So keep it up, try your best, find your people, and find what makes you happy.
Christina, she said tribe. She said tribe, Christina.
You know where I was in the background, Erica, while you said that. So you heard that? Find your tribe.
We got some more questions. We got some more questions / comments.
All right, what we got? Destiny. When you were younger, Erica, I believe this is pertaining to you, hon. When you were younger and you didn't know about the AVM, what did you actually think was going on?
So I actually had no idea what was going on. I knew that my mom struggled with headaches when she was younger, but not to this extent. So it was actually a lot of confusion, which is what made it so hard for me, especially when I started sharing my journey, because I just had no idea what was going on. You type your symptoms into Google, it's telling you something crazy, outlandish. I'm going to doctors, I still don't know what's going on. I just had no idea. I just knew that I was different from my friends and that I struggled with things differently than they did. And I was missing school, and it became a huge, large event and a huge chunk of my life that just was random. Random's the only word I can use. I had no idea. I just knew that it was hard.
We have another one.
Facebook user, it is very refreshing to see and hear positive vibes. You are an amazing young woman.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. That positive vibe, that positive energy. You know, I see Christina has it. I see myself have it, and I see you have it in spades. But it's just so many people out there that is so depressed about this, and they don't know what to do. And I think a lot of it has to do with being misdiagnosed or feeling like there's nobody out there. So let's talk about this a little bit, because I know you deal with this organization TAF, and what are you doing with that, and why is that so important for our community?
So after having my corrective surgery the sophomore year of high school, I actually found TAF online and I reached out to them. I asked if they had a youth ambassador program or something where I could meet young people who are also struggling, and they didn't. So email after email, DM after DM, I became their first youth ambassador, and we searched globally for people who were struggling and wanted to share their story. And after that, finding out so many people struggled with similar things that I did, it made me feel so comfortable that we needed to make this program bigger. We needed an adult program, which we now have. We needed to make this as big as possible so we could reach as many people as possible, because TAF truly changed the course of my life and really made me find people that were struggling or who had struggled and wanted to share their story with me and also with others other people. So TAF's important to me. They are a huge part of my life, and they definitely changed the course, not only of my pageantry life, because that's my platform now, but also who I am today.
All right, so I hear you. I understand that, but what is that all about? What are you saying for me? Like, do I have to pay for this? Is there a membership? What can it do for a person that has an AVM or aneurysm? What are the particular things that will help me out if I go search out TAF online?
So they have a lot of medical resources on their website. And then if you are a younger person and join the Youth Ambassador Program, you have that support group of all of these young people who are going through similar things that you did. And maybe can tell you about the procedures they had done that helped, or random remedies that helped that are going to be really helpful. I know when I talked about sclerotherapy, a lot of people didn't know what that was. So it helped them and they looked it up, and maybe even they had the procedure done. And now we have an adult awareness program that I'm a part of, and Angel Lang is also a part of, that we promote it at the adult level for older people who are maybe struggling and don't know they have an AVM, or have just struggled silently and don't know where to go for anything. So it's that place where you can get all the information you need, the support group of survivors and caretakers that you need as well.
All right, you said something pretty interesting, Christina. I know I'm hogging up the questions, but this is flowing through me right
No,
now.
I'm proud of you. I've been this whole series, it's been me. So I'm just watching you shine, honey. And I know you're very excited about having Miss Erica on here.
Yeah, she's from the same parish as me, in the same town, same district. That's what's up. So, okay, Erica, you saying that you now you do a lot of conferences, you do a lot of speeches. What is it like as a person doing these pageants, and you bring in that platform of awareness of AVM? What do you get from that, and how do you get what kind of response do you get from that? Do people really receive it? Do people want to know more? How is that actually helping you become who you are today?
So typically when I speak at events or on panels, I'm talking about my AVM story, and I'm also talking about confidence and how to overcome your fears of public speaking and being confident in who you are, and really working on yourself internally so that it can radiate externally. And when I am in pageantry, my focus is AVM awareness. A lot of people want to know more because nobody really knows what it is, because it affects such a small portion of the population. And when I am sharing that, people want to know more. They're looking it up, they're reading into TAF, they're contacting TAF, and they're asking me and my mom questions about what we went through, because it is an invisible illness to some extent, where people can't really tell when I'm on the stage performing that I struggled and continue to struggle with so many things, because I'm out there performing and public speaking and playing piano, that they just don't know what it is. They don't understand completely, because it isn't a physical disability or something they can see as apparently on my skin.
I forgot you play piano. I forgot about that.
Invisible disability.
Multi-talented.
Invisible disability, which is one of the shows in which we had. So with that being said, Erica, do you resonate with that? Do you identify with having an invisible disability?
I've never heard the term invisible disability until today. Usually I've heard the term invisible illness, and I do resonate with that. And when I do speak at events, I, reference the term invisible illness, because not just AVMs, pediatric cancers that, aren't as apparent to the eye are also invisible illnesses, things that people are struggling with that impact their day-to-day life that you can't normally tell are also invisible illnesses. And I like to bring up the fact that sometimes people will point out that someone who walks very well or doesn't have a limp is parking in handicap parking, but they don't realize that person can't walk long distances and they can't park in the back of the parking lot. So there's a lot of things that people struggle with behind the scenes that you don't normally see, and you can't judge them based off the fact that they look normal, whatever normal is.
So you use the word illness.
Yes, I do.
This is disability. Why?
I had just never heard the term invisible disability before. I used invisible illness because it is something that made me physically ill for days at a time, once, twice a month, where I'd be missing school. I suffered with those illness aspects of it.
We have another question or comment.
Who? Oh, hold on, Erica. We have a Facebook user. I had never heard of an AVM until I had one. I totally hear ya.
Yeah, this is, and like everybody on this show right now, I guess all of our guests as well, never heard of it either until they actually got diagnosed with it, and then we had to go and deal with it. Erica, I seen something today. I can't remember who actually said it, but I saw something today, and it really resonated with me, and I think it might even resonate with everybody on this show. But this person said that he got a email about his platform, and that this person was looking for all this information about hemorrhagic strokes, and they put in his information or put that word in or that phrase in YouTube, and his show came up, and all the information from his shows, his interview, helped out that person to figure out if they was having a hemorrhagic stroke. So what I say to what I'm asking you is, by doing all this, do you get people that look you up and then contact you and talk about, you help them or you save their life or yada, 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 yada? And if so, how does that make you feel?
I've actually had multiple people reach out to me through social media and through my email and ask me questions about my AVM and my process and my surgery, and asking me more questions because maybe they're interested in the surgery or they want to learn more about AVMs. And I actually have met a few people in pageantry who joined later after being diagnosed and having a surgery on their AVM and are asking me questions about the healing process and everything. So for me, being reached out to individually for people who are curious and want to learn more and having my story impact them really makes me feel grateful for all the work that I've put into, doing these speeches, speaking on panels, and promoting my story out to the world, because that's exactly what my goal is.
Yeah, and your answer is absolutely spot on, because I don't think people realize that part of it. It's like, yeah, we could make money from this. Yeah, we could become famous from this, but that's not what we're doing it for. We're really trying to bring awareness because we remember when nobody was there for us, and we was trying to figure out what was going on with our lives, and there was no answers. And we probably, I know I did, I made a vow, like, if I survive this, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows about this so nobody else can go through the stroke. I don't want my worst enemy to go through what I went through alone. So hearing you say that, that really resonates with me, makes me feel proud about my future of of awareness that is in good hands, that I know people like you are going to be out there saying all this great stuff about AVM so people can understand this, know the warning signs, and know how to get treatments for it. So I really appreciate you and what you have done in being very vocal out there in this platform. I really appreciate you, my sister.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like, have you ever had those type of conversations with people, Christina, that people come back to you and say, hey, this is something I never knew, I'm glad you came up and said this, and how did that make you feel?
And I'm sure it made me feel very attentive. I'm grateful for Erica. I will say, for me, Erica, um, you give a lot of information in a very short amount of span. So you really have to take that all in, and especially for me in general. Um, One of the things that I do appreciate about this is that you are being very transparent. And I hope that the viewers do go back, since you are giving so much information in such a short amount of time, that they go back and review it and really analyze the things in which you're saying, not only about all of the things that you're doing in reference to advocating, but the signs of yourself, and explaining what you went through. And I know, just from a lot of the comments and questions that we get, um, I feel like people really want to know, like, the different side of it. Like, yes, you're doing all this advocating, Yes, you're very aware, but who are you as a person? So my question, with that being said, Miss Erica, is if this was not your life, if this was not the experience, if this was not the hands you were dealt within your life with having an AVM, who would you be?
That's a really great question. I still would be in pageantry, speaking about who I am, what I did to work on my confidence when I was younger, how I broke out of my shell, because I was very awkward and quiet before I started doing pageantry. So besides the AVM, it helped a lot with my confidence and my public speaking skills. And had I not been dealt the hand of an AVM, I probably would have kept competitively cheering, because struggling with those physical aspects of the migraines and being out for a week at a time really put a damper on my athletic career. So I stopped cheering. So I probably would be cheering and I would still be doing pageants.
We have another comment.
Miss Saida Holmes. Erica, I love what your organization is all about. I truly believe that your message and mission will reach many. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Back to that question that Christina was asking, who are you? I'm very curious about that too. And what I'm curious about, it's not necessarily who are you, but the independence part. I know a lot of young people and their parents, and probably your mom was the same way, but having you going off to school, being on your own, making sure that you take care of yourself and not being there to see if you are or not. What would you say to people that want to go to college and have an AVM, and they have that anxiety about it? What did you do to overcome that and help your mom not go psycho and like, no, you can't go anywhere, you got to stay in the house? How did you gain that independence and prove it to her?
It's definitely a little scary. This was the obviously first time leaving home, but you have to make sure that you continue to take care of yourself, continue to stay in your rhythm that you were at when you're at home, stay on top of your schoolwork. I called my mom every single day, maybe 3 times a day, the whole freshman year that I was on campus, just because I didn't know what to do without her. Oh my gosh, I have a headache, mom. Stay on the phone with me. I've never had a headache by myself before. So it's scary, but you can do it as long as you're taking care of yourself and you're putting an emphasis on self-care and making sure you have time to rest and not getting too caught up in the moment of being away from home and having, being at college.
Okay, because like I said, this is something that's new to me. I would never even think about all these things that you have to go through. I just thought about, hey, I gotta walk again. Christina has the same type of condition that's still inside of her. So I guess I'm asking both of you guys, both of you ladies, and I know I asked Erica earlier, but Christina, how's that for you? Do you have that anxiety still that you worry about this AVM each and every day, or you live in life and you're not really thinking about it at all?
um, there's not a moment that you don't think about it. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I absolutely take it upon myself to try to really live life, but there's absolutely that little dark side that's always there in reference to that something can happen. The difference is where we say, live life I'm going to speak for myself. When I say live life to the fullest, you only have one life and things that's to somebody who hasn't experienced a life altering event. When you don't have a life altering event, you don't have that pause. And I feel like experiencing an AVM rupture, for me personally, I'm speaking for myself, it was a pause where it was like, life is on a pause. and then surviving it and coming out of this, whether or not, I guess it would be on anyone else's opinion, but for me, surviving and thriving from it is kind of like the pause is released. I don't feel like you could live your life to the fullest with experiencing what I experienced. I personally don't think I truly live my life to the fullest. I feel like I live my life with a purpose now, more so than just living it to the fullest and being so spontaneous. I no longer live this completely spontaneous life I did prior to the AVM rupture. I am much more intentional. Things mean more to me. Experiences mean more to me. Living my life means more to me. So therefore, I have to ensure that I'm taking that much more of an extra step to make sure that this living the life to the fullest is what I want at that very moment. So that's my take on it.
Erica, I'm gonna pose it to you, but I'm gonna pose it to you slightly different. Uh, as you heard Christina just said about, she sees life completely different. She's very purposeful now. I feel the same way too, because I feel like, I got another chance at life. I'm gonna live it to the best way I can. Do you have that same type of mentality? And is it difficult to deal with people that haven't gone through what you have gone through and they can't see your vision?
I feel like my mentality might be a bit shifted because I didn't have, my AVM didn't rupture. I just struggled with a lot of the things that I dealt with, and I had my surgery. And because I am in college and I'm surrounded by a lot of young people, I use the term live to the fullest by taking every opportunity that I can, because for so long I wasn't able to do sports. I couldn't join clubs because I didn't know if I'd make it there or not. I didn't get to do all the things that my friends got to do. So when I live to the fullest, it's me taking advantage of every single opportunity that I can, because you don't know when that's going to be taken from you. And being surrounded by so many people, the same age as me on campus who didn't deal with the struggles that I dealt with. Sometimes when I'm a little hesitant to maybe go on a hike all day for 10 hours in a mountain where I might run out of water, or I might have a migraine where I'll have to sit down and lay down for 4 hours, or I might lose my vision. People don't necessarily understand that. But when it comes to talking to that to my friends, because I have such a supportive family on campus, I never feel concerned about saying no. If I say no, you know what, that might be too much, that's just the end of the story. I have never really dealt with in my core group or on campus, fortunately enough, of having to over explain myself for decisions that I'm making for my personal health.
Really? Like, I have to explain myself all the time. People always look at me like, Greg, you can't do this. Greg, you can't do that. Why? Wow, you really got a great tribe. I love it. We have another question/comment.
Facebook user, I know for me, I am very aware of my AVM. People can have bad days for all kinds of reasons. Be kind, spread joy, and live. Do not let fear take control. Erica, do you have bad days? What do your bad days look like?
My bad days look like everything that I struggled with when I was younger. If I'm having a bad day, it could be me, having breathing issues because I have a cold and now my AVM's pushing up against my sinuses, or having, an ocular migraine and only knowing that I have 5 minutes to get everything that I need together before I completely lose my vision. And, the hard days are hard, but it just makes the good days so much better because I can appreciate them and I can take them for what they are.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. You saying that you have days that you actually completely lose your vision, and how long does that actually last for?
It really depends on the day. Sometimes, like most recently when I had a migraine last month, I had completely lost my vision about 10 minutes into the migraine. I couldn't see anymore. I don't know how long that lasted because for me, I took the pain medication, I drank some water, I ate a snack. immediately went to bed. I just decided the night was over for me. It was about 9 p.m. and I just went to sleep. But when I was younger, it could last anywhere from a couple hours to, maybe even most of the day where I'm just laying with my eyes closed. So it really just depends for me.
See, that's what where I was really trying to drill at, but I
Okay.
didn't try to articulate it. How do you deal with that? When you have your migraine, you're going to lose your vision, you're going to be in pain, you're going to be out. How do you deal with that anxiety? And what do you tell people that have that same exact type of condition, how to overcome those anxieties? Because you can't prevent it. It's going to happen. So what do you do?
So for me, being at school, the majority of my anxiety when I am having these migraines or these moments is not being able to go to class because I am very strict about having perfect attendance. So even as I am losing my vision, I'm voice to text typing an email to all my professors saying, hey, I'm having this issue. It's documented and I can't come to class. And because I've struggled with it so long, I take my pain medication, I drink some water, I eat a snack, I'll put something over my eyes if it's bright outside, and I'll take a nap. And I'll wake up. If it's still there, I'll eat a snack. I'll go back to sleep because I know how to take care of myself because my mom had drilled that to me so hard before I went to college because I was on my own. So just making sure that you know what works for you, what rhythms, what things. If you need a green apple like I did, or you need a bowl of steamed broccoli, which was my specialty in high school for when I had migraines, know what you need, take care of yourself, prioritize your health, and do what works.
So you're very proactive into your self-care. And I think that comes into a question there or comment that we have coming in, Christina. And I guess I shot the gun before this question came in.
What are some of your self-care practices?
So for me, it gets a little bit crazy here on campus because I am a full-time student. I have on-campus jobs. I am a part of 11 organizations, I think, here. So it gets a little crazy. When I do take my time for self-care, I like to go on walks. I love laying on the floor. I like to watch Netflix, and I also like to watch, the sunset, or maybe try a new local spot in town and go out to eat.
So you really live your life. You're not sitting there complaining. I love it. You
Thank you.
know, it's just every time I hear you speak or I see you do things on social media, I look at them like, man, if I had half the confidence that this young lady has, I'll be able to rule the world. And it's so amazing that you have so much energy, so much vibrant, good vibes, and you just taking on the world. I'm so impressed by it. So I'm really trying to take that information, put it in a jar, and drink it myself, so I can have it for the rest of my life and teach my children. And I know there's pain. I know there is heartache sometimes, but I never see you not smiling. Why? What's making that? I know you said your mom, but it's something else. It's something else within you that you've seen that that is that vitamin that's keeping you going. Come on, tell me what it is.
I don't know how to explain it. I enjoy living my life to the fullest, doing everything that I want to be, not being afraid to take charge of my own life. And that's what keeps me going. If I want to try something new, I'm going to try it. And if I hate it, I hate it. But I just love living life and being surrounded by the people that are around me. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna let you off the hook, but I need to know this. Are you honest with yourself?
Yes.
The
When
reason
you
why
say
I'm
honest
asking,
with yourself, what exactly?
like the reason why I'm asking that, because like some people will be like, um, I can't do this because this is this and that. Even though they can do it, they just are scared to taking that leap of faith. You know, so I'm asking you, are you honest with yourself when it comes to situations like that? Knowing you can do it, and maybe there's something that's holding you back that you're not doing it, versus I can't do it because I might become blind. And I know if I do this and I become blind, everything is a problem. So are you completely honest with yourself, with your condition and how you live your life?
Yes, I am. I'm completely honest. I know what I can take on and I know what I can't. And if it's going to be too big, I'm going to say that. I don't want to put myself in a position where people are relying on me to do something that I said I was going to do, and I just can't do it because of my medical condition. So I say yes to everything that I can because I love trying new things, but I am honest with myself and the people that surround me on if it's going to be too big of a commitment, or if I am not sure if I'll be able to be there or not. So yes, I am honest with myself.
I'm
That's
glad you
good.
said that.
With that being said, Erica, where's the doubt? Where do you struggle as a young woman, a woman within pageants, a woman in college, the daughter of what seems to be a very strong woman? Where's the doubts? And I say that because I know there's a lot of viewers that speak about with what they had went through, whether or not it was a rupture or not, with having this disability and illness, and having to really kind of regather themselves. What do you struggle with? We hear the positivity. I love it. I'm all for it. Where do you struggle?
I think something I struggle with is just being worried that I am going to go back to how I was before when I struggled with all of these different symptoms. So even over the summer, I competed at a pageant that was 8 days long, and I had a great time. It was wonderful. It was fantastic. I had no issues with any symptoms or problems, but going into it, that is something I was concerned about, that if I'm going to these big events, I'm a little bit scared about, oh, well, I prepared all year for this, and one migraine the day of the finale could be what takes me out of the running. So I think just worrying that sometimes things will go back to the way they were is something that, concerns me, that occasionally gets in the back of my head.
And how do you combat that?
Just got to rock it. You just have to believe in yourself, do what you're doing. I was a little bit nervous beforehand, and I knew that meant I needed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I needed to be drinking water, needed to be eating fruit. I couldn't be crazy with the junk food and the snacks and the salty things, because those are things that I know in the past have been my triggers. I had to be proactive and make sure that I was taking care of myself to the fullest extent, which is exactly what I did that week, which prevented me from having any migraines or any breathing problems or aches and pains or anything like that.
Erica, do you do anything outside of eating healthy and being around good people? What do you do for Erica every morning when doubts kick in? What is there a regimen that you have that you make you realign yourself to take on a day, or do you just take on a day?
As silly as this might sound, I play Wordle and then I play their sister game Connections every single morning when I wake up, and that kind of jump starts me into my day, gets my brain flowing, gets me ready to go to class. And I would say that's my morning regimen every day. That's what I do to get the day started before I get out of bed.
So this is what I'm getting from you. One, have a morning regimen. Two, take care of your body. No self-care. Do all the things that you need to do, and find something that you love and give back to the world. Is there anything else?
I would say you summed it up. That's the secret potion right there.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it, because I'm in this case study group, and they've been asking me, what are the things that are good for stroke survivors so they won't have another stroke? And I couldn't really answer that question because I don't know what made me have my stroke in the first place. I don't know why my AVM ruptured, but there was something that I said to them, and they never even thought about this. And I'm curious to find out what you think about this when you talk to your medical professionals, if they are clueless or they have an idea about it. A lot of times I see medical professionals, they don't really understand you as a person. They just look at you as a condition, and that's all they deal with. And when she asked me this question, I was like, I am diabetic, but my problem is not the food. So telling me to stop eating fast food, stop eating junky food, or stop drinking, that's not the problem. The problem is that I'm using those foods as a coping mechanism. I'm depressed. I got things going on that I need to handle. So deal with that, and then you might be able to help me stop eating those particular foods. So now I'm asking you this type of question. When people in your medical professional say, hey, Erica, you need to rest more, or you need to stop being an overachiever, you got to stop doing all this stuff. And you looking at them like, okay, but I am this person. I want to do this. I know I can do this. I don't know what's going to happen to my body, but I want to do this. So, do you have those problems? And if you do, how do you resolve that?
I haven't had any of those problems, thankfully, but I will say that you know your body better than any medical professional ever will. So when I was struggling with my migraines and we were told, oh, it's just a lazy eye, I knew it wasn't a lazy eye. I know what a lazy eye is, and that's why we immediately dismissed them, went to someone else. No, thank you. We're actually going to seek treatment somewhere else. So as much as it is helpful to listen to medical professionals, sometimes you just know your own body and you know what is going to work for you and what's not going to work for you.
Okay. I love that answer. And shout out to Mama Carnegie, because she's definitely on it. I have spoken to your mom quite often, and she's really on it. Can I say her name, or we gonna we keep it out? Hey, I'll just keep it out. She knows what I'm talking about. But hey,
Mama Carnegie.
yeah, that's it. But she is so passionate about you, first of all, and also bringing so much awareness to this. It's like unbelievable amount of energy that she puts forth towards this to helping us out, and I really appreciate that. But besides you know medical professionals, you have great friends, and I'm really shocked to hear that you have great friends that understand it at this particular age. But you said you was a firecracker before, so obviously you knew how to sort people out. But the question I want to know is, when you walk into a room and someone is not vibing right with you, you tell them to move on, and they still being arrogant or still being aggressive towards you, how do you deal with it when you just want to shut down, don't want to deal with anybody, and be by yourself? How do you actually deal with all that extra pressure that people put on you and you're not ready to deal with it?
So fortunately, I haven't been put in a situation like that. But if I was approached in that manner, I just would ignore it. That's all I have to say. If you don't want to listen to me, I'm not going to speak to you anymore. If you don't want to hear what I'm saying, you are free to leave the panel. It is totally up to people how they want to handle their day. I like to handle mine with grace. So if someone's going to have an issue, you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. Not everyone's going to get along with everyone. Sometimes personalities clash. So if someone's not interested in what I have to say, I'm not going to make them listen. That is totally up to them. I know it gets hard, especially as a younger person facing criticism or maybe hate comments. It's easier for me to just ignore it. I worked with kids when I was in high school up until I moved to college. And especially working with kids, seeing how, personalities clashes and everything. If you don't want to listen to me, if you're having a problem, if you're going to criticize me, I'm going to treat you like I taught my little gymnastics kiddos. I'm going to ignore it. If you want to talk to me later, if you want to be civilized, we can talk later. If you don't want to, that is totally fine. You are not meant to talk to me then.
I'm sorry, when you say that, I was just envisioning when you was walking down that runway and you gave the side eye to everybody that was looking at you. I guess I say, because you said, I'm going to ignore you with grace. I'm just thinking how you would actually do that. Like, hey, stop it, and just walk off gracefully. I love it. So, Erica, every time I speak with you, I get goosebumps, because like I said, I'm so proud to know you, and you are a person that is very, very much a big leader in this community. Even though you're younger than both of us, you're older than us when it comes to this advocacy. What is next on your plate to be an advocate? What are you trying to accomplish with your platform?
I just want to keep spreading awareness. My biggest goal was getting the Youth Ambassador program with the Aneurysm and AVM Foundation to be global, and we hit that mark, and that was so amazing for me, because I was so proud not only of myself but of the organization as a whole for reaching out, making this such a big thing, and really pushing it to everyone. I would say my next goal is to get the adult program on the same level as the youth program because there are so many amazing youth survivors on there, and just getting adults to participate in the program as well, getting that global, getting it everywhere, and really putting the word out, especially postgraduate when I do have my degree and I'm able to, be at different levels, reach different audiences as well. Just keep pushing that information out there.
So are you going to go ahead?
I'm hopping in.
Go ahead.
Erica, with that being said, I'm hopping in. How do you feel in reference to this particular podcast with two adults who are AVM survivors as a young adult? Is this something that if you yourself weren't necessarily experiencing it, do you feel, I don't know if you watched any of the previous episodes, do you feel like it's purposeful, similar to what you're doing in reference to advocating?
Yes, I absolutely do. I think it's really helpful, especially having a platform where it is more podcast style, where they're seeing a face to a name. I think that's extremely helpful. And even, being on Instagram as well, people are scrolling on reels and they'll see a clip and maybe click in and watch the whole thing because it caught their attention because they're not sure what an AVM is or they don't know anyone who survived a stroke. So I think that this is very purposeful. It does what it's supposed to do and it reaches mass audiences.
It's because of my face, not Greg's, but
Whatever, Christina. Erica, do you see yourself after you get your MBA getting involved more with the nonprofit organizations and being a pillar inside of that community, or are you just going to be helping out other nonprofit organizations?
I'm going to be with TAF forever. They know they're stuck with me till the end of time, undergrad, master's degree, whatever I decide to do after. I'm working with TAF forever. I will always be there.
Okay. I hear you. I like to hear that. That's great because honestly, when I first started to reach out, TAF was the first place that I found that had any information about it. I was talking to Dina, and she was phenomenal. She gave me her home phone number, and I was just talking with her all the time. So I get the love and the connection that you have for TAF. Talk to me a little bit more about what you trying to accomplish with this adult program. I know you have the children advocacies, but adult advocacy, what are you trying to pull off with that?
So that essentially has the same goal as the Youth Ambassador program, creating a support group for survivors and caretakers to be able to talk with each other about their shared experiences and then also promote their platform at events. So a lot of the Youth Ambassador speakers have, spoken at events or participated in art competitions or other places where they can tell their story and share information about TAF and explain to people what an AVM or an aneurysm or stroke is. And so that's the exact same goal as the adult program that I'm now in and Angel is also in. Angel participates in pageantry as well. So this is her platform that she promotes on national stages and that she's able to put out awareness for and share her story and share how she overcame it as well.
Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, we at the end of our show, and even though I love talking with you and we could talk all night about TAF and all your adventures with TAF and also your pageantry and dealing with school and being whoever you are in real life outside of social media, I want you to close out our show. I want you to just let our viewers know something very important, inspirational that you want to leave for them, or any comments or any places that they could go to find out more about Erica or learn more about AVMs. Floor is yours.
Thank you. I would just like to say that if you want to try something new, if you want to step outside your comfort zone, do it. If I hadn't stepped outside my comfort zone as an awkward 13-year-old and done my first county pageant, I would not be where I was today. It took me out of my shell. It completely transformed me into a new person, and all because I joined a county fair pageant. So take every opportunity you can get, step outside your comfort zone, be who you are. And if you decide that you do want to maybe follow my journey, or maybe follow the panels or events or anything that I'm speaking at or promoting, you can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Erica Carnegie 2.0, and that's also what my Facebook is as well. I'd love to have you DM me with any questions. I'd love to chat with all of you.
Thank you so much, my little sister. I can't call you little no more. You're a grown woman. I thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
I love to see what you have done, and I love to see what you're going to do in the future. Trust me, I am watching. I am sitting down with I know you was a cheerleader before, but I got my pom-poms too. I'm cheering you on. I am so appreciative that you are representing Black girls in America and also Black women in Jamaica as well. I'm so honored to know you, and I am so honored for you to represent us. I really appreciate you, my sister. Thank you for coming on.
America, you are a force to be reckoned with, honey. And I know that you're very, very fully aware of that. And I love that for you. And I love that even more so for the audience who may not be aware. And I wish you the absolute best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you both having me here today.
It's our pleasure.
Well, guys, this is the last one. This is the last one of our AVM Awareness Month series. I really appreciate you guys checking us out. You can look us up on YouTube. Like we said before, we have a YouTube page. Christina, do the honors, please.
On You're Too Young to Have a Stroke on YouTube, and of course also on Instagram, Y2Y2 has stroke, and of course our Facebook group, You're Too Young to Have a Stroke. Go ahead, follow. We have great episodes on there where I make fun of Greg. There's a lot of me making fun of Greg, but there's also a lot of informative. And it just happened to be that during AVM Awareness Month that we were able to have such amazing guests who all have some type of experience within this AVM journey, and closing this out with the absolute beautiful and such spirited Miss Erica Carnegie. It's been a great month. It's been a great month of awareness. And again, like I said last week, I love all these women, all these strong women on here, and then Greg, but all these strong women. It's been a good month. It's been a beautiful month.
So we will be pausing for a moment. This is the last episode that we'll have for 1.1 or 1.2. Hopefully we'll be back in April. And if not, you guys can always check us out on replay. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We really appreciate you guys. Have a great night. Talk to you guys later.